everybody? Welcome to the Spectrum Sanctorum, and we are here 1 week later. It's our new show, 1 week later. It is 1 week later after Obi-Wan. It's wrapped up, and we're going to talk about it. And of course, I said we. It's not just me. I'm not talking about it by myself. We have some guests. Now, you may know Captain Dove right there.
Hello.
And also Farmer Jason. Farmer Jason, Mike, I didn't know that you had a new gig now.
Yeah. Water evaporators. Apparently, it pays well, but I ain't seen no money yet. Empire's screwing me.
Of course, you know these two gentlemen. They co-host with me when we do our previews of what to expect for the upcoming seasons of the year. We went over some movies, reviewed some movies together. They also host the Captain's Quadrant together. And so it's nice that they could join us here today for 1 week later. But it's not just these two. We have new guests. Woo! We have AJ Orsini, lover of women, petter of dogs, podcast aficionado, as in he hosts so many of them, and he gets to be a part of another one.
Yes.
Welcome, AJ.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And then we have a very important person here. Very important, because he has a very important job. Youngling Disposal Officer Jason. You know when you gotta take care of your Order 66s. You know who to call. Youngling Disposal Officer Jason.
They gave me a little bulldozer and everything. It was great.
I mean, you got to keep those floors sparkling clean.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
all that young blood, man. Absolutely.
Of various colors: green blood, red blood,
Yeah,
blood with
true.
glasses.
It's like a cornucopia of color.
Oh, wonderful!
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
How are we all feeling after 1 week? The show's been marinating. The show is concluded. The finale is finished. We've read the interviews and articles and thought pieces. How are we feeling? Joe, start me off. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling amazed because I was blown away by the show. I, unlike a lot of the people out in the ether, didn't have anything negative to say about it. I thought the pace was incredible. I thought the delivery was stellar, and I couldn't get enough of it. This is the first time since the Phantom Menace that I've gone back and watched the lightsaber scene over and over again because they were done so well, and I was just blown away.
All right, AJ. Now I don't want to disagree with Captain Dove here, but he said that everybody had fantastic things to say. But as each episode passed, I've seen some mixed reviews. How do you feel by the end?
By the end, I thought I tied everything well together. I was a little cautious coming into the series in the first place because I remember reading somewhere along the line that one of the producers or someone a part of the project had mentioned that this show would kind of alter the canon a little bit in order to get their stories across. So I was like this for like 2 or 3 episodes. By the end of it, I thought they did a fantastic job, and I really enjoyed the series as a whole.
Awesome. Jason, you were messaging me and saying that you couldn't wait to talk about it. Oh my God, that's true. Farmer J. Farmer J. Thank you. AJ. Lover of women, corrector of Brandon Lewis.
Selector of Jasons.
Yes. Farmer J. You were messaging me. You couldn't wait to talk about this. What's on your mind? How do you feel by the end of this episode?
Okay, I absolutely will keen to talk about this. Let's first start this off. Was this show necessary for Star Wars, for canon? No, absolutely not. This was an unnecessary show in regards to needing it to somehow fill gaps in the story, but I'm so glad they did it. It had the highest of highs. It did have a couple of lows, without doubt, but certainly that first episode and that last episode was so magnificently executed, so well done that any of the dips that we had, any of the question marks that were kind of arisen over it, I think kind of went away by the end for me. And even the things that people, and we'll get into it, what people were bitching about, I wasn't as upset as a lot of people. I mean, yes, stormtroopers are very bad shots. I know people complain about.
You don't
you got to
say.
remember in the trash compactor scene in the New Hope, they were lucky like 20 meters away from those guys and couldn't hit them.
Yeah.
So I wasn't surprised they still weren't hitting them. So, but we'll get into that more. But yeah, groovy.
Officer Jason, let me know how you feel by the end of this.
I was not expecting such a roller coaster of emotions. I thought it had a spectacular ending. If I had any complaint about it, I would have said that probably could have maybe narratively been better handled as 2 episodes instead of 1, but I'm happy with it. I don't think I would change a thing, to be honest.
I am similarly happy, but I'm sure we all have our occasional hot takes that we'll get into that will cause some dividing between the group. But
Foreshadowing.
or else this is going to be a very boring ride if we're all
Yeah. That was awesome. See ya.
Yeah, right. Very short episode.
So let's just jump into what exactly it was we watched. Obi-Wan Kenobi begins 10 years after Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. Obi-Wan faced the downfall and the corruption and the fall of the Jedi. He is in hiding. He is on the run, and he is watching Luke, but he gets summoned by Jimmy Smits. That's not Jimmy Smits.
He's like, I gotta
Then all of a
detect
sudden, the
this
guy from NYPD Blue shows up.
Yeah.
I have a case for you.
Jimmy Smits shows up. Is like, hey, my daughter got kidnapped. That daughter's Leia, and it's been a on again, off again, going to get Leia, letting Leia run away, going to get Leia back. A lot of back and forth happening until we reach our conclusion of Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. You know, they have a couple of face-offs and quite a few teases. So let's start. I want to start early on. How did you feel going into this with seeing Obi-Wan appearing as he did? He was not exactly at full strength when we meet the Obi-Wan that we see on Disney Plus. And also, I guess, follow up on top of that, how good was it to see the man in the role? See all of our actors back in the role. I'm going to go backwards this time. Officer Jason, how'd you feel about seeing Obi-Wan at the start?
I was fine with it. You know, to me, this kind of mirrored how Luke was portrayed in The Last Jedi as kind of a withered, beaten person. I think Ewan McGregor killed this role from the very beginning. I think he had arguably his strongest scenes as Obi-Wan Kenobi in this series. And the fact that we got not only him but Hayden Christensen, you know, the fact that Hayden came back and put on that mask and was mostly, you know, covered for most of the series was just a testament to how much, you know, Hayden loves being Anakin. And, you know, we treated him so badly whenever he was Anakin, and I'm just so glad he's back. To me, he's kind of like the Brendan Fraser of Star Wars. We took him for granted while he was here, but then he left, and now we were sad. But now he's back, and we're all happy. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the story of how Obi-Wan got his groove back. I think it was a good story. Moses Ingram was a fantastic secondary antagonist. You know, whenever you look at the series as a whole, you know, she wasn't just dramatically overacting and just, I want to kill everybody. She was playing everybody from the beginning, and I think that was great until it turned out, no, you were getting played too. And of course, anytime we see Darth Vader is amazing, and they kept him scary. He was arguably at his scariest in this series. I'm completely happy with Obi-Wan. It's actually my favorite of the live-action series so far.
It really did feel like a redemption. It was almost Spider-Man-ish in a way that we got to see some characters that maybe we were judging a little too harshly. And then the show comes up and characters redeemed. Christian Haydenson getting new fan groups and saying apologies and love letters being sent to him. Farmer Jason, it feels really weird calling you Farmer Jason.
I feel like it should have been destroyed. mouth right now.
It's a simple farmer. It's a good
Uncle
one.
Owen, Farmer Jay, when you saw Hayden Christensen, and not just helmeted, he's under there. We got to see his face and not like a whole lot of CGI, aging effects going on. That was really just him, full on. We got to see. How'd you feel seeing some of our returning characters?
Look, straight away, obviously, Ewan McGregor just completely, he loves this role. He's come out and been saying this for decades now, and you can tell that he had so much fun playing this role, and he put all his heart and soul into it. That first episode was one of the strongest first episodes of television I think I've ever seen. I was so emotionally gripped with him. I was so saddened by the shell of a man that he had become, and the fact that he had been living with this guilt and this tragedy that he takes responsibility for all that time. It was so well done. And then obviously seeing Hayden back. Hayden didn't get a lot of screen time as Hayden himself, but we really got to give prop to his acting performance in the way of body language, because his portrayal of Vader and the way Vader moved, well, I really enjoyed, because we saw a Vader that was very confident, very, very self-assured in the way his movements were, and it helped, show this is Vader in his prime. This is one angry mofo who is very single-minded, and we'll get into the last episode when we deal in with him a bit more later on, but. Seeing those two actors, seeing that the fact that they were all in, and then seeing new characters come on board. Reva, I love Reva's storyline. I really do. I could not for the life of me understand the controversy around her, because she was supposed to hate her. You are supposed to hate her character. One of the amazing things about the show is, yes, in the first couple of episodes, she's coming off as one-dimensional. But there's a reason for that. As we go along the show, we start peeling back the layers with her. We start seeing her motivations, what's driving her to do what we wanted. But, yeah, like that first episode, I'll say it again, one of the strongest first episodes I've seen on Disney Plus for any of their stuff, or really any show that I've seen in the last couple of years, honestly.
I might be inclined to agree, especially after some of the other Star Wars stuff we've seen come on to Disney Plus. Mandalorian I enjoyed.
The first episode of that's great.
I even like Book of Boba Fett. I'm not going to lie about that. But
except those bikes in that game.
Yes, they were like the Neo Power Rangers, maybe?
Yeah, that's the Power Ranger bikes. Like, what's the deal with that?
The flashback to show.
AJ, you're a person I've spoken to Power Rangers to. We've had our Power Rangers talk. That was an awful segue, but I don't care. But we've spoken our Power Rangers. We've spoken our Marvel wrestling. We talk wrestling all the time. We have, in all the years, we have not had a ton of Star Wars talks. I'm very interested in your perspective on the characters that we've seen, since we're doing character analysis. We've seen some new characters. We've seen returning characters. Who really stood out to you?
Well, I would just like to open up the statement by stating here, this pillow will illustrate my point. I will one day sit my grandchildren on my lap. My grandchildren will say, Grandpa, how bad was episode 7, 8, and 9? And I'll tell them that in 2022, I did a podcast where everyone said, man, it was great to see Hayden back. That's how fucking bad those movies were, or at least the perception of it would be. Like I said in the beginning, I had my fingers crossed on this series because I just don't fuck up. That's all that it is. As soon as the show starts and you see Filoni and you see Favreau and you go, we've got a chance. Let's see what happens. I was actually, that first episode, I'm surprised you guys said that it was so strong, because I actually felt the opposite. Not so much that it was bad, but when he first portrays this version of Obi-Wan to you on screen, he's giving you a completely different Obi-Wan that I think anyone anticipated seeing. And as each episode progressed, you started to see him become more and more of the Obi-Wan we knew, until we get to 6, and then he showed us an Obi-Wan we had never seen. Farmer Jason had made a point about us seeing Vader in his prime, which is dope because even I have to admit, it was about midnight. I was watching it, the scene where Vader grabs the ship with the Force.
Yeah.
And then
Oh,
tears
it's
the
delicious.
I was like, that is amazing. But then you fast forward to episode 6 where Obi-Wan pretty much summons the power of the gods and the rock. You're like, what am I watching?
It's the high ground.
He brought the high ground with him to higher ground and tried to destroy. This it was all a collection of the spacing of everything I thought was perfect. It gave you a chance to kind of meet different people. Farmer Jason made the point earlier about the stormtroopers. I had the scene with Tala and the intruding stormtroopers, and Tala runs to the stormtroopers about this close to their face and shoots 4 or 5 of them in a row, and 8 stormtroopers can't touch her. So I was like, this follows. This is canon. This follows.
It's consistent.
I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me. I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me.
I'll be honest. I didn't really get into a group with this show till 3, about third episode, and then I was hooked to a degree where it was like, I got to see how this ends. So I did start off a little cautiously, but it did get me.
See, and that's a bit interesting to me because, you know, everyone has an opinion and everybody's got an article. We're reviewing the whole show, but people have been reviewing each episode, as is standard of our time.
Which I think is insane, because if you would have got me on a podcast to discuss episode 1, my views on 1 would have been completely different than if I would have done an episode with you on 6.
Yeah.
I would have
agree.
completely flip-flopped on the whole show by that time 6 came around.
And you're right about these times. I mean, would you review a book after reading the first chapter?
No.
But these days we've got to review it episode by
idea
episode.
for me, buddy.
Yeah.
We're about to do that. We're gonna make that happen. I'm gonna milk this algorithm until we got an episode every day, reviewing page per page.
There you go.
But I've seen articles that said the opposites, where they were really excited for episode 1 and 2, and then 3 really slowed them down. And so it's interesting hearing what excited you, which episodes called out to you more, AJ. Joe Dove, Captain, Man Among Men.
Yes.
How did you feel about our returning characters, our new characters? Who stood out to you?
What stood out to me most was the third sister and the whole dynamic and power struggle within the Inquisitors. Thank you. I felt that, you know, having watched Rebels and seeing how the Grand Inquisitor turns out, when they did that fade and he gets stabbed and I thought Reva killed him, I was like, oh, okay, so maybe somebody else is the Grand Inquisitor and this was just like his cousin or something. So it kind of started me on this build of where they're going to take it in subverting expectations, which has been a telltale sign of Disney Star Wars. And I thought I was going to be disappointed because I'm like, are they going to start redoing this whole thing? Am I going to be like upset at the end of this as I was watching 7, 8, 9 and going, oh, grandkid, let me tell you how good that was, you know?
Don't steal my bit.
I'm just borrowing pieces of it. But I really enjoyed the ending. I think every episode has its highs and lows, and just seeing Ewan McGregor come back as Obi-Wan Kenobi and that great Force ghost that we saw at the end of the show just kind of put that fine bow on it, because though there's this great despair, we did get a bit of hope at the end. And, you know, to the tagline, no, there is another. I just felt it was so well done, and it managed to weave in the threads of canon so neatly that I appreciated every minute. So I loved it, and I loved seeing Hayden Christensen once again, because I feel like they really poo-pooed on my man. They were like really dumping on him from the original.
2 decades of poo.
2 decades of poo-pooing on him. He is very covered in it, and
that smile you see on his face in the training scene is a legit Smile.
Yeah. And I'm sure that you guys love me now, don't you?
That message was to the fans. This is why you always lose.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
To be fair, a lot of the following those movies, I mean, I didn't really care for Hayden Christensen and Jumper either. So maybe some of the hate was deserved. I don't know.
I put that on Samuel L. Jackson in that movie.
Uh-oh.
Blonde Samuel L. Jackson will never be Anakin Skywalker. Never.
Never.
We brought up Reva. Farmer Jason brought up controversies. Let's talk controversy. I think she might have been the biggest controversy. I don't know if anyone else would agree or disagree. I don't. I know why there's a controversy, but Jason, tell me how you feel since you brought it up.
Oh, look, it's absolutely. Look, this is not the first time. I mean, the young lady from The Last Jedi, her name's gone blank. What's her?
Kelly Marie Tran.
Yeah, I mean, she's already been through this toxic fandom kind of scenario we had with the way people rejected her character. What it is, I think what disappoints me the most is that we have these ideas and feelings about characters that we implant on the actors. Like we're now personally attacking these performers based on how they didn't like their portrayal of a character. And Star Wars, and this goes for Hayden as well. You know, yeah, he was annoying to watch in episode 2. Very much so, because he was an annoying teenager. Now, as a father who has got a couple of kids who just got out being teenagers are very annoying at times and can be very, very simplistic in the way they deal with their emotions and things like that. So, believe it or not, I thought it was appropriate for like Hayden to perform the way he did in episode 2. And then now you're moving on to the young lady that played Reva. Yeah, like I said before, she was one note in the first few episodes, but by design, they wrote it that way. You're supposed to despise her as a person. The fact that we had lowlifes out there who would bring up race of all things to attack her and accuse her of being kind of some sort of stunt casting is absolutely abhorrent in my mind. And the most thing I'm ashamed of around Star Wars is that sometimes that is some of the toxic fans we have around. So the controversy was embarrassing. I mean, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ewan McGregor literally had to do a social media post to try to address it. I thought it was extremely disappointing. She got the last laugh, as far as I'm concerned, because I love what they did with her character. And I love the journey, the emotional journey that she went on. So, for all you toxic fans out there, I won't say the expletive I really want to say, but go to hell.
I know people who did not feel the racist or anti-feminist stance. They didn't have that kind of stance again, and still didn't like Reva. AJ, I want to toss this to you from a wrestling standpoint, because I feel like there's a need for the bad guy to be cool. Oh. And I don't think that's just a wrestling thing. That seems to be something that's penetrating all sorts of media. How do you feel about that as a factor in Star Wars? I mean, I guess people looking for their Darth Mauls, and they're looking for, I guess, these badasses, and that is their acceptable villain. I guess I just want some insight from you on this.
We live in the generation of the charismatic asshole, because if you, and I say that, I say that because if you think about it in real life, if the villain is a villain for solely being a villain, then why couldn't the villain be me? And that's not what people want to live by. They want their villain to have a reason. They want their villain, Killmonger, Thanos. They want their villains to have a purpose, because if you're just the Joker and you're just evil, then you're just bad. And why can't, if this person can become that, then why not me? Every time that there's fandom towards a specific something, it's a reflection onto themselves. They identify with heroes because of this. Well, I identify with that, so I like him better as a hero than the other guy. If they can't identify with the villain, then what makes the villain so bad? Because he's bad. But you can't rationalize that, because everyone does bad shit. So if I do bad shit and he does bad shit and he's a villain, am I a villain? So they would rather have a villain they can root for, because then at the end of the day they can point to that reason being like this and like this. And for the people that didn't like the Reva character in the beginning, when she was just a soulless, mindless, I'm going to kill whoever I need to be to get to where I want to be, when they found out she had a heart, oh, well, that changes the game just a little bit, because now I can identify with this person. But if you'd have given this character the shot for the first episode, you would have been able to take that journey instead of getting a jump scare of kindness. All of a sudden now she's relatable. But it is what it is. As far as the controversy goes, we all know why that is. And the name that you were searching for earlier when I said Kelly Marie Tran, in a world filled with green people, for some reason, non-white is an issue. So I don't know what it could be, except for the fact that Star Wars has a toxic fan base, but at the same time, it's one of the biggest. So that's why whenever you discuss toxic fans, it's one of the ones that comes up. I got news for you. Sports has toxic fans.
Oh, yeah.
Indiana Jones, for Christ's sakes. I mean, just fandom in general has its toxics and its non-toxic. It all comes down to the same value. In this world, which is Star Wars, it's a fantasy-based world. And whenever you get someone who, I don't know if we can curse on here, F with your...
I think I already did.
Okay.
So
all right.
you did earlier. It doesn't matter.
Sorry. I'll tell you what. I'll challenge
We
myself.
don't get paid for it. Don't worry.
I'll keep it clean from now on as a challenge to myself.
Nah, don't worry. Don't worry.
When you F with someone's fantasy, then it becomes the issue. In everybody's world, Star Wars belongs to me and nobody else. And if it's not in the vision that I like, then I'm going to voice it in 140 characters or less. What I appreciate is in the 70s and 80s when we had productions, if the viewers would have went and voiced their opinion and said, I don't like this black person, I don't like this Spanish person, the company would have gone out of their way to recast, to rewrite, to make this right so people will watch. The fact that they said, we don't like this, and then the producers and the writers and the actors and even McGregor himself went online and said, too bad. I appreciate that, because that's the kind of attitude that's going to stop this from happening down the future. In the future, we're dealing with this now. They just did Roe versus Wade yesterday, but the big subject is Lightyear and two women kissing. This is what kind of shit we're talking about. It's all line of sight. So it's don't mess with my fantasy world. I don't have time for that.
I couldn't have said it better. I don't recall many other controversies. I think that was really the big one. Anything else after that has seems to be just like canon related. Officer J, do you feel like there has been anything ruined?
Did it mess up canon, I guess is the question. Star Wars canon has been messed up since episode 4, so that doesn't bother me. And my dirty little secret is I don't care about canon that much. They can break canon in half if they want to, as long as they tell a good story. I don't care. You know, we watched Luke and Leia kiss in episode 5, and then by the next episode they were brother and sister. I don't care. As long as it's a good story, I'm fine with it. We've rearranged. That's my official stance.
Not strong here.
No,
Joe, you're F with the canon. Stop.
The canon must be altered.
Yes, I find myself not really worrying about the canon. When I hear anything about the canon, I'm like, what exactly got messed up? Something from the legacy books, maybe? I don't know. I got to go back. Check the comics, see what they've got. Joe, I'm sorry, Captain Dove.
Okay.
What do you find? Was there anything that really troubled you about this series? Like, normally if something's bothering you, and you and me, we've hashed it out on a number of topics.
I know, like Batman Returns being the greatest Batman movie ever made.
Suck it.
No.
What?
Oh, what?
No, but that's not this show. That's not.
Oh yeah, well that's another one. It is though. I don't care what anybody says. I'll die on that ledge, brother.
But
That's the hill he dies on.
That's right.
but I don't remember us having many issues, any back and forth about this series.
No.
Was there any controversy, anything that you found controversial in Obi-Wan?
Not so, maybe the cliffhanger with Reva. She's still there. Is she being redeemed? Is she a foreshadow of Anakin's redemption? Was that the point? What really bugs me, though, is the tomb of Jedis. Are they planning on some type of, like, what is it, Jurassic Park thing with them? Are they going to start cloning them? Because it looks like they're all in amber, and they never spoke about it again. It was just like, oh yeah, look at this.
Use it with dinosaur DNA.
Yeah, and it was like, hey, what happened to all those amber frozen Jedi? Like, what's going on with them?
I thought they were dead. You know, they're keeping
I
them
don't
for
know.
they're keeping them for
They
you know,
preserve
bringing
trophies,
Palpatine
aren't
back
they?
later.
Yeah.
I don't know what was. I thought they needed to talk about that. That was the thing that bothered me. It was like, oh, what about those things? What about? Are they going to talk about that? Is this a trophy room, or is this? Are they alive? Like, what's going on? That
They
was
preserved a small child for a museum,
yeah, that was weird.
and they kept the helmet on for prosthetics.
Yeah, that was like, oh, that's mean.
Make him look like he looked before Anakin cut him in half.
Yeah.
That was the instruction.
Oh my god! I just thought that was the only thing that was unresolved for me, and that was like that stuck out of my head, and the fact that you've got a story with Leia, and now we know why she named her son Ben, because that rescue mission from Flea of all people would have to be.
I forgot he was in the show.
Yeah, I would have to be. I would name my kid. If Flea kidnapped me, I would be like, oh, whoever saves me, I'm naming my firstborn after them.
That chase scene, though, when they capture Leia in the first episode, was probably one of the worst chase scenes I've seen, though.
It was horrible.
In a great first episode, that was the only thing where, if you actually watch it again, like, you've got the kidnappers just randomly running into branches and stuff and getting knocked over. Whoa! Anyway, yeah. But, you know, Flea is awesome. Come on.
Yeah, Flea's awesome, but I wouldn't
Just
want
wanted him to pull out that base and just
I
start.
I might let Flea keep the kid.
That's actually the first episode that made me feel
Dave
old.
Matthews Band.
Oh,
Then
Dave
I'd get
Matthews guy.
Oh, I love Dave Matthews. Don't let it.
No,
That
Dave
episode
Matthews
made me
can't have
feel-
my kid.
That episode made me feel old because at one point Leia's doing that thing where she's running her mouth again. And he just looked at her like, you remind me of your mother. And I said to myself in my bedroom when I was watching it, I said, Ben, that mouth doesn't get any better over the years, let me tell you.
Yeah.
I met her when she got older. She's a sassy one.
Yeah.
I can hear it.
Awkward
I
silence.
thought Leia did an incredible job.
Yes, she was awesome.
I can
big
hear
fan of
the gears in his Mac working.
Vivian Lyra Blair find herself. I can. That was you done messed me
That
up.
was some
I don't.
IMDb, baby.
Oh no, I already had it up. I just had to switch the window.
Nice.
Since-
He's over
since
here
we're-
tabbing and
since we're exposing what's happening behind the screen. Look, I was only given so much notes. I'm rolling with what I got.
Oh,
So,
it's a Saturday
but
night.
I
How
thought
much
she did
prep
a
you
very
want?
good job. When you have child actors, I feel like even though the person who I didn't look up the name of, the original Anakin, the youngest Anakin, I don't feel he dealt with the same trauma that Kristen Haydenson did. And I hope that this young Leia similarly can have a nice, peaceful life after this, and doesn't have to deal with any harassment for anybody. Because I thought she did an incredible job.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
universally,
Jake Lloyd
everyone
actually
thinks
did
that.
have to deal with a lot of bullying, and
School.
he ended up having to have psychological help, unfortunately, because people were just
I'm sorry.
getting
I
him.
Yeah.
take it all back.
He's had
I'm
addiction
sorry.
issues.
I thought he was
He's
doing
had a
fine.
rough
I mean, it was,
part of it.
and of course, it was just people bullying him, and it was terrible.
Yeah.
And here, Brandon thought he was just on a beach drinking Mai Tais,
No,
chilling.
fortunately
Yeah,
not.
I thought he might just be an
unfortunately not.
accountant somewhere, just living normally,
Being an
having a
accountant.
normal.
Let me do some math.
No, maybe somewhere
Nah,
out
he had a
there,
rough
an
product.
IMDb page too. All right, so let's talk about our favorite moments then before we wrap things up. Favorite moments, least favorite moments, elements of the show that really just stood out to you. Dove, go ahead, Kat.
Of course, lightsaber scene between Darth Vader and Riva really got to me. I watched that one more than maybe even the Revenge of the Sith lightsaber, because the amount of toying your man did with Riva was incredible. The fact that he was like, "Oh, okay, you think you got something? All right, try me. And then he blocks her lightsaber, and then he breaks her lightsaber in half. And he goes, grabs both, sets them both over, and he's like, I couldn't kill you, but you know what? Here, try it again. And he gives her a lightsaber back, and then he just wallops her, kicks her, and takes it back. And it was just incredible how powerful they portrayed Vader in this. And it seemingly overwhelmed everything, like him ripping the ship apart. Of course, as we discussed earlier, was just incredible. And even the sacrificial Obi-Wan, the barbecue Obi-Wan that we got earlier, when he was pulling him through the fire, and he's like, "Remember what you did to me?" And so I really thought that we were going to get some incredible.
Was that Albert? What was that voice?
Yeah, I can't do it, James Earl Jones, man. That's why they got
that was your.
That was a
James
bet
Earl
on Bill
Jones.
Cosby, though. I'll give you that.
I don't know. Darth Vader with Fat Albert's voice, that has possibilities. Could you imagine just that scene in Rogue One with the lightsaber igniting and hey, it's Darth Vader.
I've come with the plans.
My heart is breaking. They could say that for the Lego Star Wars movie.
But speaking of James Earl Jones, how incredible was it to hear him as Darth Vader again, and then him not be tired when they filmed
him breathe over the entire cast.
yeah. But like, think about it. In Rogue One, he seemed old. Like I thought they got somebody else in Rogue One. It's like the voice is a little off, but I'm sure it's not James, and it was. But in this one, it was like OG original series James Earl Jones. Like, they got him early in the morning. Was like, "Hey, Mr. Jones, here's some tea for your throat."
I promise you, they sent audio equipment to his house.
Yeah, they did. They
Well,
That dude is not leaving.
actually,
Oh, we got it.
well, excuse me, the nerd here has something. James Earl Jones was the voice of Darth Vader, but he was also not the voice of Darth Vader.
Ooh.
Correct.
They used AI to clone his voice.
Wow.
And so what you were listening to was, I don't know if it was James Earl Jones actually saying the lines or somebody else saying the lines, but they took that voice and then they layered the James Earl Jones voice on top of that.
It was a
And so
soundboard.
it's the same technology they used for Luke Skywalker in the Boba Fett series. Because
More
that was,
controversy.
yeah, so that was Mark Hamill, but it was also not Mark Hamill. And I think for Darth Vader, it worked amazingly because it was a good performance. It was a really good performance,
And
even though
obviously
it was not technically James Earl Jones.
And there were moments,
blown
obviously,
away right
when
now.
we get to the mask, where they not only mixed James Earl
so
Jones'
cool.
voice, but Hayden Christensen as well.
Yeah.
And it was kind of moving in and out, which I thought was brilliant as well.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
Sound guys, thumbs up to the sound
Yes.
guys.
Yeah. Incredible.
I think my only controversy is I don't know exactly how the lightsabers work. They cut hands and we get to keep the hand. You kill Obi-Wan, he disappears. You stab Reva and she lives. I thought lightsabers used to be one and done, but people get to crawl away and have sequel series. I thought.
Well, we could say again that I
just
was still
thought
from
she
Jason.
was gonna die after against.
Yeah.
Well, we can steal from Jason from the nerd thing. If you get struck by a lightsaber, not only you get your arm cut off, but it should cauterize the wound as well.
Yeah.
And the
So-
Grand Inquisitor did say revenge does wonders for, survivability, so...
Yeah.
Go.
True.
You find that part on City MD. I am very excited for Star Wars future because there is more to come. Not just the Lego Star Wars, which I'm actually not excited about, but might still be fun.
Yeah.
But
Cutesy,
I know
yeah.
we have the Andor series coming out very soon, like over the next
Very
couple.
soon.
Fans of Rogue One, I know you're excited for that. And if you weren't a fan of Rogue One, too bad. It's still coming out.
You have no say in the matter.
We have a lot to look forward to. Before we wrap up, what are you most looking forward to, guys? I'm going to go backwards again. Officer J, well, now my order has changed completely. So, Officer Jason, what are you most looking forward to next in the Star Wars universe as we begin to wrap up?
Well, as a fan of Rebels, I'm really looking forward to the Ahsoka series, and I'm looking forward to seeing those old friends again, except for Kanan because he's dead.
Oh.
Oh my
You had
god.
to go there.
Yes, I did have to go there. I'm looking forward to seeing the galaxy's most prolific serial killer, Chopper.
He's got more body count than
The
anyone.
biggest body count of all the Star Wars characters.
That's right. That's right.
He commits murder every episode, but he's still so cute.
Farmer Jay, what are you most looking forward to?
Well, yes, I am looking forward to the Ahsoka series, but I'm actually really looking forward to the Taika Waititi Star Wars film in production.
Oh, yes.
Because he has come out and said that he's going to be taking the franchise in a brand new direction. We're going to see stuff that we haven't seen before. We are not just going to be connected to the Skywalker saga. And I think for the viability of Star Wars long term, we need to be starting to go into a lot more different areas and maybe move away from everything has to be connected. A vast galaxy where everybody is 6 degrees separation away from everyone else. I want to move away from that. And I love Taika, so.
All right, so you're just tired of seeing all of the sand. You don't like
Yes.
sand.
Yes. I bought
So
this farm. I'm thinking I'm going to make money. And it's just nothing but fucking sand. I'm over it already. So no. No, I just want Star Wars to go in a new direction. I'm excited to see. I want to be surprised again with Star Wars. That's what I want. You know, and surprised in the way of new characters. You know, I don't want a Mary Sue character anymore. I don't like any of the new characters they brought in the last 10 years from live action. I think we've had some missed opportunities there. And I will say for the sequel series, I like Force Awakens and I like The Last Jedi. I choose not to acknowledge the rise of Skywalker. As far as I'm concerned, the Skywalker saga ended at the end of Last Jedi. So I'm just, I want new stuff. I want new things.
Yes, new stuff.
I want new
AJ,
stuff.
I know you're a big Taika fan too. I know you're a big Thor Ragnarok fan.
That's an inside joke.
What are you most looking forward to in Star Wars?
I have to say that as much as I enjoy the franchise, I can also admit that I'm still learning so much about it. Obviously, a lot of the canon stuff I'm familiar with, but a lot of the newer shows, like Star Wars Visions, was completely different for me, right? Like that anime deal and all that stuff. Like, that was a completely left field thing. So, one of my favorites that I don't really hear a lot of people talk about, but I thought was just well done is I liked the Bad Batch when it came out.
Oh,
And I know that there's a season 2 on the horizon, so I'm looking forward to seeing how that story now continues. The Bad Batch, I can't get my son to watch any of this stuff, but he does have the Lego Star Wars game. So what happened with that is that as he started playing the game, he started learning more about the characters and the names and stuff. And for whatever reason, the guys from the Bad Batch was his favorite from the game. So that's the one series he has seen is the Bad Batch because he's really into those guys. So because it makes it more of a family affair in the house, I'm looking forward to that. So I'll see what that means.
That's adorable.
I know. Being a dad's kind of a hard job.
Well, as I've already mentioned, Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation coming out very soon to Disney Plus.
Jeez.
So
I think
I'm
you're
that'll
more
be a lot of
better
fun.
than anyone else, Brandon.
You've plugged it quite a bit on this.
You know what? I will watch it. It's not the thing I'm most looking forward to, but as much money as I'm
Is
giving
Chris
these
Pratt
streaming
voicing in
services,
this too?
as much money as I'm giving these streaming services, I'm watching every fucking Star Wars thing that comes out.
Yeah, I hear that.
And demanding more for your money.
Yeah.
Captain.
Yes.
Oh, Captain, my Captain, what are you looking forward to?
Andor. I really want to know what they're going to do with Andor. I can't wait for Mando season 3, but Andor's got a lot
Wait. Season 3 wasn't Boba Fett?
No.
It was
It was
2.5.
It ended that way. It ended
That
that
was
way.
what happened.
Was that season
2.5.
2B? Is that what that was?
The Andor series got my attention. The Tony Gilroy is a fantastic showrunner. I really can't wait to see what he does with the series. It's going to be obviously not going to have a great ending, but it's going to be like right before Rogue One, so we get to see characters from one of my favorite Disney Star Wars, and that's Rogue One, come back to even the small screen is going to be joyous for me. And I'm hoping that K2 Erso and oh, you're shaking your head. No,
the droid is not in season.
The
1.
droid is not in it. Oh, that just ruined my day.
Can confirm that.
They did say they were saving him for season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, his season 2, fine. But we'll still see Kalen, and that's fine with me. I liked him a lot. I thought he was an interesting character, and it's a lot of the
SP. Your voice sounds like you're settling.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, we're good. This is great. This is great. Oh no, he's not gonna be there. Yeah. Oh, okay.
A hand job gets me to the same place.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, that's what I'm still looking forward to, believe it or not. And then, man, because I want to see where we go with Bo-Katan, because the Darksaber now belongs to Mandalore. So where are we going to go?
Did you see they released some set pics of the live action?
I have not.
Mandalore?
No. Uh-oh.
Groovy.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
I think that we have all had a great time sharing all of our thoughts on this. I'm going to invite everybody watching to also put their thoughts in the comments below, because we are wrapping up. Let us know what you think about. There's a lot of touching of whiskers happening there. If you'd like to touch Obi-Wan's whiskers, you can comment that in the section too. If you like what you saw, this is getting really dirty. You can follow us all at To Be Seen, at Spectrum Sancto, at Lewis or Brandon. That one's me. At Jason Roy Gaston, and at AJ Orsini 96.
You back now.
There we go. At Pop Culture Spread. Look at that.
There we go.
Spread.
You can also keep in touch with what's going on here by hitting the alarm, giving us a follow, like,
and
share.
also press this bell icon.
You know what you got to do to help us grow and feed the YouTube algorithm gods.
Yes.
So there's still a lot of touching happening. I think we're going to say goodbye for now so we can get a little more intimate. And I'll see you later, everybody.
Goodbye, Darth.
Obi-Wan!
I agree.
Your internet didn't agree.
No, I thought I had bad internet.
Your service provider was like,
I really am for her.
That ISP is having revenge today. Revenge of the ISP. I'll be doing some editing this
Are
week.
we all here?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah,
I think they moved the laptop for better reception. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, that might be it. I'm an old school guy. Like, if I gotta hit this,
you have to blow the cartridge. Take the network card out. And just...
oh man. But yeah.
That's going to be fun. And there's just such a vast universe with Star Wars. We have so many opportunities. And it was just announced a couple of hours ago that Natalie Portman is going to be returning to the Star Wars universe. I don't know what capacity. Maybe it's going to be unsad. I don't know. Sadness is a killer in Star Wars.
Gets a chance, I guess.
Yeah, we're going to get
Where is she coming back into the universe? Did you read that?
Yeah.
I'm going to check the article out. That's huge.
Like, show me the Carfax, Joe.
Yeah.
I got
Who's your source, Joe? We want your sources.
From giantfreakingrobot.com.
Oh,
you don't know?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
You don't know?
They just don't like
It isn't Deadline or the Hollywood Reporter, I don't think, of Variety.
Yeah, they're the Breitbart of science fiction.
I got poo-pooed on my own channel.
No, you didn't. Your source did.
Don't believe the mainstream media.
Don't believe the live stream.
We encourage your childlike enthusiasm for the idea. We just burned the people that gave you the idea. That's it.
Of course, you know, if she does come back, we're all going to have to apologize.
I'm looking forward to that one. That's gonna be fun.
But I
I'm
wouldn't
sure
be
she's gonna come
surprised.
back.
I mean, she's back in the Disney family now, isn't she? Obviously,
Yeah,
with
that's
Thor:
right.
Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
Doesn't she look jacked in that? I know.
Oh, she looks
huge.
huge.
She's beautiful.
And I've been watching those training montages that she's done with Chris Helmsworth. She's just unbelievable. She's a
Hemsworth, mate. Be careful where you know,
Get it right,
Hemsworth,
man.
not Helmsworth. He's the king of Australia, buddy. Say his name right.
Was Paul Hogan finally disposed? Or
Yes.
No, the guy who
knocked him
does
away.
those Aussie reviews is my favorite in Australia.
Oh yeah.
yeah, Aussie man reviews.
Yeah, Aussie
yeah,
reviews. That's my favorite
I
Australian.
think he's
on
the
earth.
Secretary of Education, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
He is for real. That's great.
No, he's not.
I would love that.
Making a joke.
That would be great, though.
He should be, at least for here. He should be.
Yeah.